Hey, I'm Kevin from the Lantern Theatre, and back in 2015 I was extremely excited that the Dilys Guite Players trusted me to direct Noel Coward's classic comedy ghost story. In this video, we're going to take you through how we brought Blithe Spirit to the stage. Now, when I first saw Blithe Spirit many years ago, I knew that one day I wanted to either act in, direct, or be involved in a production in some way because I just loved it. Now, you might have seen the amazing 1945 film as well, but for me, nothing beats the fun and excitement of the stage play. Now, something that I'm absolutely thrilled about is that we asked Tim Barron, who audiences will know for his wonderful writing and acting, to create a behind-the-scenes video for us. And it really does capture the excitement of community theatre. And after watching it, I think you'll understand why we love being part of it so much. Now, if you're thinking of joining our community theatre, or maybe one near to you when we can open the doors again, then this gives you a great idea of how enjoyable it is. So sit back and enjoy this little extra bonus feature, and before anyone who saw the show asks, no, we don't reveal how we made the seance table float.
We changed our auditions a couple of years ago and started testing open auditions in workshop style. And the workshop styles work really well. In all honesty, some people like them, some people don't. But from a director's point of view, it works because you get to see a lot of people all at once and you can start putting them together in different groups. And although sometimes we use the text from the play, sometimes we use some just an ambiguous text, but it allows us to swap people around and see how they work together. We can start pairing people together or pairing casts together and see if we take two people out and put one person in here, how does that change the dynamic? And I like that because it does mean that in a very short space of time, in 2 or 3 hours, you've suddenly seen a cast form together on stage rather than bringing people individually and then hope when you bring them back it will work.
What I really like about Kevin is that he comes into the process really knowing what he wants. He understands what he wants, he understands the play thoroughly, absolutely thoroughly.
I personally been reading this play for years because it's one of my favourite plays, so I had in my head a very clear idea of what I wanted it to look like, and as members have joined over the years, little tick boxes have gone in my head of, oh, I may have just found someone for that role, but then obviously when you open the auditions and people turn up, suddenly someone throws a spanner in the works, so you think, oh, that's why the audition bit is a good idea, when you can try people around and the ideas you had, the new people that have walked through the doors, and the cast that I've got is a mixture of those two. It's people that I thought might do well, and fortunately for me they did in the auditions, and people who walked through the door and completely threw me for 6. Okay.
I'll come and do space at the back.
Now you also know the space you're working in.
Not very much.
It's a lot.
The warm-up really is essential because you don't get a chance to warm up prior to coming, especially if you just come from work like many of us have.
Some shake. Okay. Shake. And just do a few shoulder rolls, just to clear out the day.
So it loosens you up, it allows you to sort of shrug off the day.
Just forget about what you've done previously, and it's just so much fun.
It's fun.
I enjoy them. And
it gets you into the frame of mind that you need for being on the for performing, for being on the stage. It puts you in the space to start with, and then you sort of clown around a bit and do vocal warm-ups, which are absolutely essential.
The vocal warm-ups help to give sustainability to the voice, make sure that while we're rehearsing, it doesn't disappear, but also it gives us good practice for when we're actually doing the run, because we do 2 weeks worth of plays. That's an awful lot of strain on your voice, and so you warm it up in the same way that you would warm up before you do a physical exercise. You warm up your cords and your muscles in your throat in order that your voice doesn't just disappear halfway through the run, because that would be tragic.
What they do is really build a kind of team dynamic, if that doesn't sound too posy. They get you to know your colleagues and the way your colleagues move and the way you interact with people.
So we're going to walk around. This time, you've not seen these people in years, and you're so happy to bump into them. Off you go.
It gets everybody involved and it gets you focusing on what you're doing. So the throwing of the balls, I haven't actually done that physically before.
What's the ball game?
Yeah, basically not sat but stood in a circle, throwing a ball, playing catch in a certain order.
Okay.
And then another ball's introduced, and then another ball's introduced.
Oh, right.
Our PB is 5 at the minute.
But it makes your mind start ticking over because you've got to focus on the language, and that is one of the best things to do. It relaxes you because it always gets us laughing.
Five balls at
5
wow.
between 6 of us.
That's very
That's
impressive.
nearly a ball each.
It is nearly a ball each. It's very good.
I notice is when we first start doing a play, we what's generally termed as blocking it. People use different terms, but it's where people are going to stand at different times, and the way things are delivered, and the way that the lines are delivered. And then over the directing process and over the rehearsal process, what we do is we look to see how the actors are reacting to each other, if they're stood in the right places, if the line's being delivered in the right way. And we sit and make notes of the entire scene, and the notes are just feedback. That's all that we do is feedback. And at the end of a scene, at the end of a rehearsal period, we sit and give that feedback.
When we get to the Quiet Little Mice bit, the Quiet Little Mice bit is great, because it's sort of like, do you know what, I'm going to humour you, Charles, that's fine. But we really sit down over there, and we have the... Now listen very carefully, I don't want cigarettes. That following that is really is humouring. It
Okay.
really is. Then you shan't have one.
Okay.
It's so like, oh my God.
Lines, I just read and keep rereading the script.
Repetition, repetition, repetition. I always record them onto my phone, which I think a lot of people do nowadays. I record the end of the cue line before me, so I'm hoping that I get that cue line, and then I record my line, and then I just listen to them everywhere I go, really.
Just keep on going over them, but I find it easier to learn when I'm rehearsing, so I kind of associate a position or a prop with a certain line.
Right.
The trick that I have learnt is I usually get a recording. If possible, I will get a recording of the play, so I will listen to it over and over and over again.
I type them out early on, as that seems to help to get some of them in.
And hopefully that way the lines stick in my memory. Sometimes it doesn't work, as you've been witness to, and sometimes they just completely fly out of my head.
My main place for learning lines is in the bath, and I actually did that for my part in The Crucible. We did the play The Crucible, and I learned all my part there, and I've done the same with Blithe Spirit. Dr. Bradman's lines, I didn't have a lot, but I did start 3 months ago, and I would say if I've missed 3 days looking at my script in the bath, then that's saying a lot. So that's more in my social habits rather than actually learning lines, but that's the way that I learn my lines.
Okay.
I use an app. I haven't been sponsored by them, I promise. But I use an app called Line Learner, where I record all of my lines and other people's lines, and I can choose whether the app plays me back all of the lines or whether it just plays back other people's and then leaves a gap for me, which does make me look crazy in the car, because that's often where I do it on long drives. It does look like I'm talking to myself, And then the other way that I learn is I force my friends, housemates, family members to run lines with me over and over again. So they know the play before they come see it.
I'm Phil. I'm helping to build the set for the Blithe Spirit.
Oh, right. Have you done this before?
Yeah, last 2 years now I've been helping out doing the set building. Quite enjoy it.
What do you enjoy about it?
Well, it's the practical side of things. I've always been a hands-on sort of person. So I just enjoy doing from an engineering background, so
Oh, right.
I've always sort of built things and made things. Not really the design as such, just the implementation of what the director wants, what's required for the set. They have the ideas and I have to try and build it. We, as a few of us.
The likes of Phil and Barry, who've done a lot of things for us in the past, are just genius, and you give them a problem and they just solve it.
On a production, the technical director largely is responsible for everything that isn't acting.
Right.
I've not quite got that full jurisdiction on this one, so costume isn't really in my domain. Set is something that I've contributed to, but not solely responsible for. But in this particular production, it's largely all of the lighting and all of the sound, design, production and operation. Turn the file a bit. Initially you're there very much from the start to try and see what's the vision that's being created from the outset. If you've got a director that's doing Shakespeare but they're trying to do it in the 60s, then you need to know about that from the off. And your involvement then very much suddenly takes off in the last sort of, probably around the last month before you open. It's because it's a playlist. Yeah. So we haven't got it at the moment. We need to put players together. So on this production, there's lots of sound that comes from bizarre places.
I'm not quite sure where it's coming out at the moment, but I can't hear it at all. It's very faint.
I think it's
Just the gramophone.
Is it?
Yeah. Hello.
Right, it's not coming out of the front of house then.
So I've been under the stage, I've been above the stage, I've been everywhere. So getting speakers in the right places and all that kind of thing. So.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
And is that an unusual amount of going into spaces and fixing speakers and things for production?
It's quite common in this space, simply because you're in a theatre that, when it was designed, first of all, wasn't designed for the scale of productions that we put on, but also the technology that we now see as standard hadn't even been dreamed of. There's reading the script, and that's you can't read a script enough. You need to get a picture in your head. It needs to be number one of exactly how you want that to look. I write that down then, write a written description of what I want the scene to look like. Then I use a computer software where I can begin to play around and see what the stage is going to look like, and then translate that to a diagram of, okay, what lights need to go where, and where do they need to be plugged in, and how am I going to do it. And then it's costing all the things all the pieces of kit that's then going to require, what you need to hire, what you need to buy, what's that going to cost. That process is somewhere between 6 and 7 hours. Rigging on this production, the install was around 13 hours, and then there was 7 hours of production work on it yesterday, so that takes you to what, 27, something like that hours. So a lot of time, just over one solid day normally. So yeah, that's roughly it.
A director decides what the audience is going to see and make sure that the play is how they envisage it in their head and stays true to what the writer wanted as well, with a little bit of their own flair and tweak in it, and drawing out characteristics that the actors are bringing to the part as well, because no matter what's in your head when you cast it, the actor brings things to it as well.
I think one who obviously knows the material inside out, so they know they already have a vision, I think, and they respect. I think a good director is one who respects that you can bring their vision to life.
I hate directors who are a little bit willy-nilly and they will just allow it to pass just for the sake of not saying something. So I particularly like Kevin. He knows what he wants and that's what he gets from us. And
he's got a very clear picture of what he wants. So that gives you a lot of security in the early stages, but then he lets you play around within that framework, which is really good, I think.
They are patient.
Yeah, patience and a sense of humour as well. So and that's good. That's working with this.
Yeah, bless him. Directors need patience to deal with us actors, but trying to have our own way and stopping. Yes, they definitely need patience.
So what does an assistant director do?
So the director would like you to help and have support with. Sometimes reading in, actually standing in for the actor. Sometimes I need to work on a scene with two people who aren't on the scene that's on the stage at the time,
right.
Rehearsing and take them away and work on it.
Yeah.
And it's like the director has just said to us, I've realised that I need to get this done and that done. And I said, well, I'm here as assistant director, I can do that for you. What do you want? You know, it's about helping each other.
Yes. Yeah.
So I know that if I was in that position as a director, I'd be able to say, right, I need some help here. So you bring out garlic and curtain, put that cone on, trowel cards on the table, plain cards on the floor, tree branches on the floor, crystal ball, small table stage right, Ouija board on table. No, we don't throw people in at the deep end.
Oh, no.
I hope not, because I don't want to.
And it's that the delegation of tasks as well. Could you just help with this particular thing on a particular evening for the rehearsal, and trying to share that out, and you know, to look for areas that, as an assistant director, that you can support the director and the cast.
This office is distracting.
Yes. It's impressively high tech.
I know, it's fantastic.
It's
so
very good.
exciting.
And what does the stage manager do?
I am in control of all the props. I just sort of slipped in there, you know. Really, and I found it, I realised that I had a liking for it, and so a lot of people don't like it, and I really like it. I like to be organised and know what's coming and be there for them.
The problem is, and it's trying to put this in the politest of way, we can't just make the phone stupidly loud so that we can get over Lara's scream. So it's more of a trust thing, if you see what I mean. It's easier for you guys to trust us that the phone's there than to turn the phone up to an unnatural level so that you can hear it. Yeah, I think it's as loud as we go, otherwise it's strange.
Sorry, who's moving the armchair to the side? Me. Thank you, madam.
So, just so got everything with all the tasks allocated.
Who's moving the sofa back? Was that you?
Yeah.
Ready?
Just one second.
You have to put like my body shaping tape on the floor. Like CSI. You'll need a lot of tape.
So if you weren't actually given a task to do, just don't come on stage.
You know when I say change over, I take things off here.
There's some more.
We'll come to that.
Yeah. It's not too late to
Yes, I'm off now.
Yeah. Who said that?
I did.
That's brilliant. What?
Friend of mine from America
messaged me after she'd seen the picture go up on Facebook, asked me if I'd been eating well enough. She was like, your face looks really thin. She was like, are you being healthy? And I was like, yeah, it's makeup. I'm being a dead person.
Does Kevin give it the seal of approval, or does he leave it entirely?
I had a chat with him.
Ah, right.
To see what his vision was.
Yeah.
Because I'm glad that we were sort of on the same page. Because I didn't want it to look pantomime.
That magical moment. Oh, we need the lube.
We did 2 practice runs, didn't we?
Yeah. But it was Kevin's idea to go with the green.
Yeah,
which works really well.
Worked really well.
Hair and makeup takes a good hour, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
Stop! She's such a bitch.
I feel like there's all kinds of character.
I think working with the men doing the gory stuff is always good fun. Because they get really giddy about it, so...
It's true, it's true.
They do. As soon as there's any blood or anything involved, that's it. And the shows get gorier as it goes on, don't they?
Yep.
Is that, make sure I'm on camera. No!
Yeah.
How's that work?
Well, Kevin's a nightmare, completely. Doesn't know what he wants, and completely unrealistic expectations, I tend to find. Yeah. No, it depends.
Yeah, there you go.
That's good.
That's it really, I'm gassed on it.